Okay, hello everyone. The source is my Saputra, 19 grade MJB, Pasundan University. Here I will read a journal about economic growth, education, and economic growth. Education has long been viewed as an important determinant of economic well-being. The theoretical growth literature emphasizes at first the mechanisms through which education might affect growth. Early studies of schooling quantity and economic growth, the major the majority of macroeconomic literature on economic refers to education employ a measure of quantity of schooling. The most common measure is years of schooling, average across the working age population was month. Survey issue merging and scaling human capital from early growth accounting to current chronic growth regression. The standard method of estimating the effect of education economic growth is to estimate chronic growth regression where average annual growth in the domestic product GDP per capita for all several decades is expressed as an foundation of methods of schooling and set over variable limited important economic growth. Through more spectacular studies, race, Wills, and Colonel raised the issue of causality, suggesting the reverse question running from higher economic growth to additional education may be at less important the causal effect of education on growth in the cross-country association. Feature raised question about the possibility of simple growth models with years of schooling and stress that is important for economic growth to get other things right as well. In particular, the intellectual framework of the economic growth issue are researched rather below. However, most importantly, using average years of schooling as an education measure implicitly assume that year of schooling delivers the same interest in knowledge and skills regardless of the education system. This measure also assumes that formal schooling is the primary source of education and that variation in the quality of non-school factor after learning have a negligible effect on education as well. The neglect of cross-country differences in the quality of education is the major drawback of such a quantitative measure. Initial evidence of the quality of education and economic growth, which surely the average student in Ghana or Peru does not gain the same amount of knowledge in 10 years of schooling the average student in Finland or Korea. However, seeing millions of years of schooling assume that they are equality in addition to years of schooling and facility assume such are skill and human capital come from formal schooling. Yet extensive experience on scholarly development and cognitive skill indicates that a variety of factors outside of school, family, peers, and other have a direct and powerful influence in governing the natural factor introduce other element of measure error into the growth analysis. Research efforts on the importance of cognitive skill for economic growth. The most recent efforts by Hornacek and Weisman Irish international student achieved tests not proportionally available and use the most recent data on economic growth to analysis even long period. Eight extract the sample of course which available the score and growth information to 15 considers the data also used to analyze effect of the distribution of educational quality at the bottom and the top of economic growth as well as well inter intercation based on education quality the infrastructural of economic the measure of quality of education is a simple average of the mathematics and session score over international tests interpret a proxy for the average education performance the of world labor force. The measures encompasses overall cognitive skill not used developed in school. Such whether skills are developed at home in the school or elsewhere they are enunciated in the gross analysis. After controlling for initial level of GDP per capita and 4 years of schooling, the test score measure features a statistically significant effect on the growth real GDP per capita according according to simple specification to scores set large by U by SD are associated with overall annual growth in GDP per capita to pensing point higher overall 14 year spread which in also is indexational the prior estimation on Hanusek in Kimako. The interaction of education quality with institution. Economic institution effort to interact with the effect of education quality of economic growth. The institutional framework country effect the real profitability of privacy and productive activity. If the available knowledge and skill are set the room activity rather than the latter, the effect on economic growth may be very different, perhaps even showing negative. The allocation of talent between second and entrepreneurship matters for growth. Countries with more engineering students grow faster, and countries with more law students grow more slowly. Education may not have much impact in less developed countries set look other positioning factors such as functioning instructions for markets and legal system. Besides, due to the deficiencies in the institutional environment, cognitive skill may be available to socially unproductive activities in my developing countries. Simulation the impact of educational program on economic growth. It is important to understand the implication of policies designed to improve education outcome. The reports estimates provide information about long-run economic information of improvement in education quality for a better understanding of the impact. Imported efforts is usually to real polish return directly to the factors of economic outcome consistent with special in purpose. The timing of the reform is also important in two ways. Peer such movement of student performance cannot be achieved instantaneously, but request change is goal that will be accomplished over time. The same from is differs visually up to spacing, but spacing standard different SD distribute above for an entry nation may take to 10 years. Second, if the reforms such trial impact on the economic will not be immediately initially, the greatest will be a small part of labors. It will be some time after the reform of the school before the impact on the economic in realized. In other words, the fire matters are based through of as the long run of Walvitrium on outcomes of a robot course with a given educational quality. projecting these net gains from improved educational quality further with the period federally show the long run effects of run over it must not just not slash be clear that TC effort repairs the ratio from actual gains in educational outcomes. There have been my team around the world to improve student outcomes, and my objectives have failed to yield against student performance. Perform choices which impact students will not have these grow effects. This immersion shows that the purpose estimation of the effect of educational quality on growth have flares effect on national economies at the same while the rewards are larger. They also unfortunately that policies must be considered across long periods requiring patience, patience states not always clear national policymaking. The reforms must also but provider perspective because other options of institutional change and investment will also take time. Think basic economics institution, for example, children happiness override the economic esteem to others. Furthermore, the accumulated evidence from analysis of economic outcome is that the quality of education measured on outcome basic of economic scale has powerful economic effect. Economic growth is strongly affected by the scale of workers that people now matters. The message is important in developed and developers in countries alike. In the latter, much of discussion of development policy today simplifies and distorts this message. In recordness, the education matter, but focus much attention on the everybody in school regardless of the learning says goes on. And as references report by Bank Independent Evaluation Group, document his priority was accorded to ensuring framing school enrollment, developing contrast of the part whether children were are learning garnered must raise attention. International retesting tested happen among the attending lower term. Second, secondary schooling, the theory rates by international standard are very low in many developing countries by reasonable qualification. Many countries have percent of their your children rushing minimal literacy and To measure level, Avon School of Statistic Data looks by Handshake and Wishman.